3. Oh! What the fuck?
What happened?
Sorry. Okay. And we're live. Hello, folks. Welcome to Fanboy Modeling School.
Where everything went wrong tonight.
Oh, yeah, everything. You don't even wanna know what my bonehead just did. Modeling School. Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD. I'm here with my boy
Steve, real name, no gimmicks. What's up, family?
What? It is dark times. It is dark and moist times.
Dark and moist.
No, I know. Seriously, it is so humid where I'm at. Like summer is here, and I feel like it's summer in Florida somehow or some shit.
Have you ever lived in Florida or been there?
No, I visited and I regretted it. So back when I used to play rugby, we went to go play the Jacksonville Axemen. You know, that was our once a year we would choose like a really far away game just to have like one Duke off with the team we would never ever face off. So we're like, let's fly to Florida. We chose these guys. And I love it on the plane and I love it in the airport. And the moment I walk out of the airport, a wall of heat and humidity hits me in the face.
No.
And I'm like, I'm about to get back on the freaking plane. It was so disgusting I couldn't even play right. I was like grossed out. Don't touch me. It was a whole thing. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How technical difficulties beforehand, inexplicably shit that was not one way when I fucking left the other day is now.
Yo, it's like a gremlin or something. Honestly, I think Mercury is in retrograde. Now, I have absolutely no evidence.
Stop that fucking witchcraft right now, bro.
I was consulting the star charts this morning.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, we got a lot going on today.
A lot going on. I didn't even get a chance to check out the thumbnail because there's so much stuff going on. I sent you a clip for one of our main topics. You know, we covered last week the whole Nick Merckx versus Call of Duty situation that's going on.
Call of Groomers, as I like to call it.
Call of Groomers. And so we saw Tim the Tap Man come out in support of his good friend Nick Merckx, asking Call of Duty to remove his contractor. That's not the word.
Wait, hold on. What was the video you're speaking of? The dude dressed up like the Burger King using a diamond detector to determine his
No. That's the other thing we're gonna get into later on here. We gotta talk about your boy Boosie Badass getting picked up by the feds.
Yeah, right.
Getting picked up by the feds after getting released by the state. The operator. Thank you so much. The operator bundle.
Right.
You know, Tim the Tap Man came out, said, "Hey, take my shit down too, you fucks. You moist fucks, you." Take my shit down. And then obviously Dr. Disrespect uninstalled Call of Duty live in a show of sign of solidarity with Nick.
Love that dude. Love it. You know what? I gotta say this about Dr. Disrespect. For a man whose name is Dr. Disrespect, he is a very respectful person.
Yeah. And we're gonna get into a not so respectful person who, I've never had anything against him other than we just don't agree on anything, like in regards to our views. But we got to talk about your boy Hassan, Twitch streamer, political commentator.
Yeah, that dude is
taking shots at Dr. Disrespect and Dr. Disrespect responding in kind. And I'm gonna
Dr. Disrespect being respectful. I gotta say, that's what I'm talking about. Him being respectful. He could have lit Hassan up.
Well, there's no need to light up a mouse when you're a lion, right? And
Right.
I know Dr. Disrespect, he's got the funny wig, he's got the mustache, but I don't know if you know this. He played ball in high school and I believe college. He's a big guy. Dr. Disrespect may be like somewhere between 6'5", 6'7", look it up. And he's a huge muscular dude. And we'll get into why his response was respectful, because ultimately when you are a lion, you don't have to respond in kind to a mouse. And then we got to talk about Boosie Badass getting pecked up by the federales. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna get into we're gonna answer the question definitively tonight. Is DJ Vlad an op? Right? Is he a culture vulture and an op? We got to get into that stuff.
Because
And
he gets people to confess on his show. Well, like,
yeah. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Because I have a view that I think a lot of people aren't going to line up with. And then last one, right? You and I went to go see The Flash. We saw it on Friday. Both enjoyed it. I believe I turned and looked at you during the movie multiple times, like, God, this might be the best movie I've ever seen. Loved it. Gave it an 8 out of 10.
it was amazing. Yeah, I really loved that movie. And so it has flopped.
Yes.
Immensely, and we have to discuss why. It's pretty
Right.
crazy. And just another thing I gotta point out, we might just touch a little on the Joe Rogan situation, because I actually chose it as a subject tonight because I don't fully understand it.
I didn't even know there was a situation. Didn't know. Did not know.
It's involving a certain viral strain. And him challenging people to debates. He's on Twitter telling his naysayers, he's like, you can come to my show any day and I will debate you.
Right. I think I'm up on this. I just want to give a quick shout out to Tim and my man Shaolin Iceboxer, who I hit up last week in regards to how could Anakin defeat Obi-Wan. Asked him as a tactician and a practicer of lightsaber, various forms, right? What could Anakin have done? So maybe we'll get into a little bit of that nerd shit tonight.
Well, you had a real conversation about this?
Yeah, we had an IG conversation.
That's awesome.
And, yeah.
An IG one step further. One step closer to being a real nerd, like a real, like, you can never get laid again nerd.
Moving right along.
Final shout out I have to say is to all the slaves who were liberated. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to those poor bastards that found out a full 20 to 30 days after it had been abolished. Like, wait, what? Over. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It ended today? A couple of weeks ago.
I hate it when people emphasize. I think it's funny you're bringing it up, but I hated that people emphasize that part of the story. The real part is that people were liberated.
Right. You say that from your comfy chair in 2023 while our ancestors were fucking...
No, because I say when we say that, it makes them look like such suckers, man.
No, it doesn't make them look like suckers. It just supports the narrative that motherfuckers will not do shit if you don't know that shit's happening, right?
Right. They'll get away with what they'll get away with.
They get away with. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. I celebrated it by being at work, right?
I bet you there were like 1 million white people who are off having a great barbecue right now.
That's not far from the truth. That's not far from the fucking truth.
While you were slaving for the man, there was like an Italian who works in construction who has the day off, who was enjoying his time with his wife and his kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I actually said you're welcome to a few people today. They were like, "Oh wait, this is a federal holiday. We get time and a half." I was like, "You're welcome."
My garbage man accidentally came.
Did he?
He came and he was doing the thing. I said, I thought it was a federal holiday. They go, it is? And I'm like, it's Juneteenth. And they're like, the dudes are like, never heard of it.
Like, no idea.
So that's the state of this country right now. But which one do you want to start with? Which one of these boffo amazing stories do you want to talk about?
Let's jump right into Call of Groomers, right?
Yes,
wait, before we get there, listen, I gotta do an honorable mention, man. So it's Father's Day. My mother came up. I built a trampoline on my day of relaxation.
Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I won't be saying anything about any single mothers. No. Happy Mother's Day to y'all.
You're to have a day. Stop milking days.
But yo, check this out, right? So my mom is up, and me and my mother get into a lot of the political discussions, a lot of discourse and stuff like that. And I was like, "Yo, let's watch this January 6th documentary that's on Max, formerly known as HBO Max." Right? Have you watched it?
No, what it's called?
It's like Jan 6 or some shit. I don't
Oh, okay.
know. But so everyone has different views on what happened, right? But this is a video size view of what happened. And I gotta be honest with you, Mantis. Watching this documentary, you could say a lot of things, right? You could be like, "Oh, they edited it to make the protesters, the freedom fighters look like maniacs." Mantis, do you know they have like their own Battle of Helm's Deep that happened on January 6th? Have you ever heard of the battle for the tunnel?
Oh, where they're pushing on the doors, that kind of shit.
Yes. Have you seen the footage of that? Was like a straight up medieval push. Push.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, it's absolutely insane.
It's a lot of work to gain freedom.
Yeah, I believe the police had to gain freedom from the psychopaths. And I love to this day that Fox News, Candace Owens, and other people like, it was just a day where grandmothers took a tour around.
I mean, they're both. Here's what I'm saying. I believe both sides are exaggerating. Of course, when people are like, "It's just a tour," no, it wasn't just a tour. Actually, it wasn't. It was a tour for Indian Jack, the Shaman, the QAnon Shannon. That guy got a tour.
Actually, I looked up the definition of tour just to make sure that I looked up the definition of tour, and it seems that a tour is something that is solicited and you're invited.
No, but I'm saying you've seen the footage of the cops showing him around the building.
Wait. So it's funny you bring that up because they had all of the footage of what happened. So the cop that was showing him around the building is one of the cops that met Officer Goodman, who was going to be killed by these people. You know, the brave cop who led them away from the hollowed halls. The redheaded ginger cop that's showing Rain Dancer, the bull man, around. He was with those cops and he was explaining what happened. Then he was like, when Officer Goodman brought those guys to us, he was like, I realized that this is where we were going to hold the line and we couldn't let them go any further. He's like, and the only thing I could do to keep this from really escalating was to try to reason with these people. And at one point, they were all making their way to another entrance to get into the chambers. Hold on.
That sounds like a
no. Hold on, because on one side of this story, there's video footage, which this is not my opinion. This is not conjecture. So they show this guy and he's leading them away because they had already evacuated. And when he was in there with Bull Dancer, right, he even said, he was like, man, there was a point when he sat in the vice president's chair. And I realized I was the only one in the room with these people. He was like, what could I do to stop them? Continue.
I hate to sound like it's funny because I both sound like a conservative and a wokey McWoker when I say this. Why were these white cops hanging out with the Indian Jack? Meanwhile, the brothers of color were getting stomped out by a freaking militia.
No. Actually, see, and you got it wrong again. You got it wrong again because I had it wrong for an entire year. So as you watch, Officer Goodman was the cop that led Buffalo Jack and the rest of those guys away. The battle for the tunnel was happening at that moment while they were dealing with those people. What we all didn't know and what we didn't see from the safety of our own homes is, right, because the narrative that's being pushed from both sides on this agenda is that there were 3 breaches going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I was completely unaware of. But folks, if you get a chance, if you have Max, if you have Max, go check out this documentary. Because the one thing I love is consistency, right? And this is where I have to take a shot at the conspiracy people and all this shit. The grandma's touring the thing. Yo, I have no empathy whatsoever. None for the woman who doesn't understand the basic tenets of law enforcement, right? So people, hold up. People don't understand something, right? Your local civilian cop is obliged to say, put your hands up.
Right.
A cop in a suit that's there to protect senators.
Okay, wait, hold on. I want to cut you off real quick because I really want to have to say this about what you're saying. You have zero sympathy. You have to have some sympathy. You see people all the time who are criminals engaging in shit and getting shot, and when they're black, you have a problem with it.
No,
So
you
now you
see,
have to have some
no,
sympathy
no,
that this
no, no,
woman
no,
got
no, no,
choked.
no. No, bro. You have misquoted me 100%.
Okay.
I, on the other hand of this table, have said multiple times, when you play the game, you get game rules, right? I don't have sympathy for drug dealers.
Okay. Okay.
I've always said I don't have any sympathy for drug dealers who are raping and pillaging the community
Right, right.
if
Okay.
something bad happens to them.
Okay.
I
So I
have
would say
sympathy. I have sympathy, however, for the law-abiding black citizen
okay.
who is hassled by the police. I'm
Okay.
on record saying that multiple times.
Okay.
So allow me to finish
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm sorry for putting words in your mouth. But
Allow me to
I will say that I too think that like you're right. She was any one of them. It was perfectly fine to shoot them. Like I'm sorry if that's savage, but honestly, if I was one of those cops, I would
on
probably
that.
be arrested right now and I'd probably be on trial because when the wave of protesters was coming and I saw the cop, I even was watching the footage and I said, shoot him, and I would have unloaded my gun on those guys.
So it's funny
And the
that you
fact
say
they
that.
didn't. I was like,
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, my brother, because while that's going on, the battle for Helm's Deep right, is happening in the front of the building. Did you know that there were armed fucking soldiers in the one entrance that if they would have made their way to, they would have all been gunned down?
you know what it is? I was like disappointed about the lack of gunplay because I'm like, anyone can just march into the Capitol and fuck shit up. Come on, if you march into my Capitol, I want there to be gunfire.
Bro, all right. So and the reason I brought that up is because so I was watching that and then I was like, oh man, that was good documentary. I enjoyed that. Then I decided to watch the documentary they have on Q. That's right, I said it. The alleged Patriot Q, Mr.
This was all on HBO Max.
Yeah, this is all on HBO Max.
So you're okay. I'm not gonna get into it. Go.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for
You're
it. Are you
watching all these
are you,
liberal
are you,
documentaries. Okay.
wait, are you a Q supporter? Do you think that
No,
Q
no, no, no.
are you a QAnon
But I think
supporter?
it's funny that you're like, I'm gonna learn about all these guys from a liberal lens.
No, see, and there you go again. That's your problem, right? I didn't say that I agreed with them, but it was interesting to see the report because if I'm going to learn about QAnon from the other side of the aisle, would you say that I'm learning about QAnon from a far right conservative?
Yeah, I mean, if I got that. Yo, Laney, welcome in. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi. We were just in the middle of I accused him of being a racist. So
Not a racist, but so it's funny. So I watched all that stuff and had a hell of a time. The QAnon stuff I could not finish because I was like, I have a very very low threshold for conspiracy theory people, right?
how do you tolerate me?
Yeah, I was literally about to say you are on a very very short list of 4 people that I will listen
Okay.
to any of that shit, right? I would listen to you and Laney on Mothership Mondays and Mothership Wednesdays. Very short list, right?
Right.
Like, in fact, to the point of like, I often think when I listen to some of my conspiracy friends, I'm like, you'd probably benefit from me punching your mouth.
Oh, by the way, my mother has found her new cult leader. This is so fucking. So my mother now that she has YouTube, she doesn't have to go out to find cult leaders anymore. She just finds them on the internet, and she is mass consuming this brother named Billy Carson.
Oh yeah, I know.
And so Billy Carson is absolutely like a hoteppa and like and all that stuff. However, he focuses on the alien part of it.
Okay.
And everything's Egypt and aliens. Everything goes back to aliens. And I'm just watching my mom watch these videos. And even I'm like, oh, Jesus. Come on, get it together.
So apparently it says Jedi Survivor in our title right now. And that's because of everything that went on with fucking OBS tonight.
It's using the old title.
Yeah, it's using a title it should not use, but I can fix that.
Yeah. But Matt was wondering if we were going to get into the Flash. Do you want to do Flash or call Groomers first?
Let's do Flash.
Yeah, Flash is the easier topic to bang out, and so we both went to Flash,
right?
And I loved it.
That was a great movie.
I thought it was utterly amazing. I have to say, other than a few CGI complaints, which we're still, you can get over it. For instance, like if you can't figure out a way to CGI 14 falling babies, don't do it.
Right.
But other than that, and actually that action scene was a little hokey. And I was worried the rest of the film was going to be like that. But when you finally get it, like when you get into it, I enjoyed everything, even Michael Keaton, even Supergirl. I thought I was going to hate Supergirl.
No, I thought that was great. Thought that was great. Thought that was great.
Matt says, I generally enjoyed this movie. It was fun, exciting, and gave me and my son a good time. I thought the story was incredible. Keaton was my favorite part. I definitely need to see it again. I will see it again in theaters, and trust me, they need our revenue.
Um,
this
so
is this is a flop.
So in regards to it flopping, right? This is the fault of no one else but DC fans, right? I'm going to put
Yeah.
the blame square on you fucks. It's the fault of fans who claim to support DC, right?
You don't claim yourself to be a DC fan?
What?
I know you're not like a hardcore fan, but you are a fan.
Okay, let me say it again. This is
I just keep misjudging you all night long.
This is the fault of DC fans, right? Maybe not DC fans in totality, but like it is the fault of people who claim to be supporters of this. And you're at no obligation to support something if you think it sucks. But if you're one of those people who wanted to see DC and the Snyderverse represented in an incredible way, you missed your opportunity. Now, I suspect that this movie is going to do extremely well on DVD. It's going to do extremely well on digital, on streaming services and stuff like that. The CGI was completely hokey. Your homegirl, Grace Randolph, thinks that might have been an intentional play by the director. I don't see how it could have been, but I had to say, I honestly had a great time watching this film.
Here's the thing. I think the bad CGI in the chronosphere was on purpose, and I don't know why they would do that. It was insane, but it did seem like he did it on purpose. Because remember, Flash is traveling back to events we've already seen in the movie. Right. So they have footage of it. They could have just replayed the footage, but instead they made weird CGI things moving around. It was bizarre. Right.
That was my least favorite part, was the Chronos representation there.
Yeah.
And I do have to say though, I did enjoy. All right, let me just jump right out the window here, man. Let's just get right to business here. This was probably the best multiverse type of scenario that I've seen adapted on screen thus far. And I am not a fan of Crisis. I'm not a fan of any of the Crisis events. I'm not a fan of the original Crisis. I'm not a fan of the other 3 Crisis that came after that.
Right. It's just Crisis, everything Crisis.
I'm not a fan of the
Finite Crisis, Crisis Finite, Infinity Crisis, Crisis Finite.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Dark Crisis event, any of that stuff. You know, I'm a lover of the Doomsday Clock arc that came out. I thought that was the best Secret Crisis, which
they should have called that Clock Crisis.
Bro, there was a point when they were talking about like the speculation about them and Marvel doing a crossover, and it was going to be obviously Marvel's multiversal campaigns are usually called the Secret Wars and stuff like that. And if they did a crossover, someone floated the name Secret Crisis between DC and Marvel, and I was like, actually, that fucking works.
It actually works so well. Feige ain't never letting that happen.
No, yeah. Feige's too busy taking 9 inches in his mouth saying, this is good. But I really enjoyed this.
Welcome in, brother.
This movie was extremely good. The CGI didn't take me out completely while I was watching it. I have to say that the story was way more engaging than I expected it to be. And Ezra Miller is an amazing actor. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, bro.
He is. He did 2 different versions of the Flash, and he did them well, and I was entertained. I was absolutely.
Bro, at one point, when they're sneaking into that Russian base, and they get found out by the scientists, and the scientists look at them, and they're holding hands, I was like, that's fucking genius. I'm like, that's fucking genius, bro.
No, that was Ari. Welcome in. How are you? I haven't seen Ari in a while. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for stopping in. We're talking about the Flash right now, and so the box office was brutal.
No spoilers.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say I really thought it was amazing. It is worth a watch. Now, obviously, we don't have the type of fan base to actually change the future of this movie. Like, I kind of wish that I had a platform big enough where I was like, go see it, and we could save it. but unfortunately, it's going to go down in history as one of the biggest flop superhero movies ever.
Right. Unfortunately,
So,
it's sad.
what caused this? And so, on one hand, you have to admit it's got to be Ezra Miller on one end. And so, for instance, I'll give you an example. My sister, who watches every superhero movie, didn't go because she's so disgusted by Ezra Miller.
Okay.
So other people had to have felt this way as well.
Which makes sense. Makes absolute sense, right?
Yeah.
Right? People have the right to be offended by a groomer and an alleged groomer. Alleged violent, not even alleged. We all saw the video evidence.
Right. Of
Of
him being
attacking
violent.
an old person and a young lady. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Yeah.
I could see people boycotting it based off of that.
And it's
We
funny,
are chroniclers, though. We chronicle events, and we are obligated by a higher standard than a normal person. We
right.
have to go see these things. I didn't want to go see fucking Ant-Man. I didn't want to see that shit.
I didn't want to see that. Or, to be honest, here's what it is. I was kind of convinced by the trailer of The Flash. However, on principle, I was like, F Ezra Miller. I hate Ezra Miller. He is a problem. I'm glad that I still went, though. I'm certainly glad that I went. It is horrible. What do you do when the artist is a horrible person? Like the other day, I was enjoying a Chris Brown song. Should I be arrested? I don't know. I don't really know.
Yes, you should be arrested.
It was Freaky Friday. It's the one where he switches bodies.
You gotta fucking. Hey, this is some breaking news that just hit on Twitter right now. We got some breaking news hitting on Twitter. I don't know if you give a fuck or not.
What happened?
The first official poster for Kraven the Hunter has been released. The official first poster for Kraven has been released. So back to Flash.
And so, this is why people aren't going to superhero movies, because of Kraven, because of all these bad movies they're making. Bad characters.
I called this. This was DC's plan from the beginning. They're like, we're never going to beat Marvel with this. So we have to keep making bad movies, and we'll set it for when one of their movies is eventually bad. And then people will make the connection that all superhero movies are bad. And then Michelle Rodriguez will lead a campaign that all superhero movies are the same. And then we'll all go, wait, who said what? Did you say Michelle Rodriguez?
The misinformation. You notice that both Ant-Man and the Flash wear red costumes. They were trying to confuse people.
Yeah.
Right.
See.
So Grace Randolph is quoted as saying that she believes that Keaton was too niche for the young people, that they don't remember that Batman, and it would have been better if it was Christian Bale.
Yes, I agree, and you also know I agree about something else that's a spoiler that I just looked over at you during the movie and I was like, that was cute, but this is the way it should have went down.
I agree with your statement in the movie theater, by the way. That was absolutely on point.
So I just want to ask you a question, right? So we only have 2 representations. I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. This is fact, not conjecture. Search your feelings. You'll know it to be true. We only have 2 representations of a real Batman fight in movie history. We have Ben Affleck, who killed, not beat up, but killed all those poor European motherfuckers in that warehouse. And Batman versus
he was
Superman.
snapping necks. He was bashing heads and skulls.
He stabbed a guy. Batman stabbed a dude. Right? And I would also like to present to the court that Michael Keaton's Batman most certainly killed 6 Russians in that fight scene in the Russian base. There's no way any of those guys got up and walked away.
But you have to admit, it is an age where we can kill Russians. Because the Russians are so unpopular.
Right? Russian soldiers?
Soldiers in fiction. Russian soldiers in fiction. let that be clear. But I'm saying Russia's so unpopular. The guys making it are probably like, they're Russian. It's all right. Let Batman do whatever he wants.
Well, it's all right because China supports Russia and is quoted as saying that their friendship has no limits. Unlike their friendship with Marvel, where they're like, did you say Black Panther?
Maybe they're just getting offended by all the Black Mermaid, the Black Panther. They don't know where they're like, what's with these Americans? Matt says, I think it's 90% Ezra. My eldest brother didn't see it because of Miller.
Right.
Did the movie have Gorilla Grodd? I don't like DC, but I like Gorilla Grodd. I love Gorilla Grodd. He was not in there. That would have been an amazing villain, maybe for a sequel.
Right.
And here's the question. So what is James Gunn gonna do? Because he actually wanted to double down on Ezra as Flash. This is one of the things he wanted to keep.
Right.
So
Okay.
what is he gonna do now?
Interesting. Shalin says no, the Craven trailer broke.
What is he? He's in Kick?
No, Shaolin's in YouTube.
He's not coming up on the thing.
This is more fucking Stream
We're
Labs
streaming 2
shenanigans.
different YouTubes right now.
Are we?
Which one? I think we have 2 streams going right now because Shaolin's not appearing on my thing.
Oh yeah, Laney's not appearing in mine.
Why is it interesting? I got Ari, DT Dubs, Laney, T Mizzle up in here.
Matt. I got Shaolin, I got DT Dub. Yeah, we're streaming on 2 different YouTube channels.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, guys. We are having the night. We are having the night right now. So Matt says we aren't getting a sequel. We're not getting a sequel. With this box office, we will be lucky. You know what? James Gunn could lose his job, which I'd be happy about. Maybe that's the icing on the cake. But what are they supposed to do? They're going to reboot The Flash as well. They're rebooting everything else. They might as well go with The Flash. But I'm not sure if I can deal another reboot of everybody.
All right, I'm going to say this, and then hopefully Dragon Lady's in here. Welcome, Dragon Lady.
Welcome, Dragon Lady.
I'm going to say this, right? This is the only time. This is the last time I'm going to say this. But I'm going to try to say it with some class and elegance. No one gives a fuck about young Superman.
Yeah, no, I certainly don't care.
No one gives a fuck about Lobo.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? He's one of those C characters that shouldn't have he should have a cameo in a movie at best.
No one cares about that shit. No one cares about that shit. No one cares about Lobo. Nobody cares about young Superman. No one really gives a fuck about a Wonder Woman reboot. You don't care. You're pretending like you care, but you don't care. You don't care. Ask Matt. Matt, does anyone care about a Wonder Woman reboot? No. No one gives a fuck about seeing Shazam, and no one gives a fuck about the potential of any other Justice League or Justice Society characters. No one gives a fuck about the Suicide Squad. None of that shit. None of that shit. None of that shit. What we care about, right, at this point is a story for DC that makes us enjoy it. That's what we care about.
Well, if you're talking about that, that's what The Flash was. That was the first real heartwarming story I've seen from a superhero movie in a long time. That shit had some pathos, man. I was like feeling feelings. I was crying. I was like, oh, man. Shaolin Iceboxer says, what up? He says Alexandria Daddario for Wonder Woman. Oh, a non-exotic, because Alexandria Daddario is pretty white. Like she's like
did you say a non-exotic?
Yeah, exactly. Because here's what I'm saying. When you look at Gal Gadot, you're like, a white woman, but then she speaks and you're like, wait, she's exotic. And I know I'm not allowed to say that, but this is my YouTube channel, so I'll say whatever the fuck I want.
Don't worry, folks. By the time we stream next week, I would have figured out what's going on with Streamlabs. This shit is I'm trying not to let it kill my mood right now. I'm trying not to
don't focus on it. Just let's embrace the stream right now. Lainey says we had Smallville. Leave it alone. Love it. She says, "What up, Shaolin?" Matt says, "You better not say shit about Swamp Thing."
Right, I don't have any. Let me get started on Swamp Thing. let me go balls deep in Swamp Thing. So actually, Swamp Thing for me has always been more enjoyable when he is paired up with Constantine. Apart from that, there have been some good Swamp Thing arcs, but not one of my favorite characters. When I see Swamp Thing with John Constantine, I know it's going to be a great story. And if you're a real DC Comics enthusiast, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Here is what drives me freaking crazy. Do you remember when they were doing the endless announcements back in the day of DC, when there was like still hope that DC could put something together?
You're talking about the DC movies.
DC movies. They hired Guillermo del Toro, and they're like, he's gonna make a Justice League dark movie, and that would have been Constantine and Swamp Thing and a bunch of the Demon and a bunch of other people, Deadman, and the paranormal guys, and it just never happened. And they have all these projects that just never materialized, and it drives me nuts because some of them would have been great. A Batfleck movie would have been amazing. Wait, here's what it is. It would have either been the greatest thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, but we would have been entertained in one way. But now we don't even get it because they can't even make movies.
Bro, a Bat Flick movie would have been great. If
I would have enjoyed it.
With Ben Affleck at the helm, writing and directing, that would have been. Because you can say a lot of things about Ben Affleck, but the one thing you can't say is not a talented writer, and he's not a talented director.
He's an Academy Award-winning writer and director. So
let those balls sit right in your fucking mouth. If you think otherwise,
you're gonna hate on our man Batfleck. Batfleck 2024. That's what I say.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't even know what his policies are. I'm fucking voting for that motherfucker.
I think you need the trio. Yeah, the Trinity, Matt says. What up? I want to see them do Teen Titans. That would be amazing if they started the new DC reboot with Teen Titans.
I think we're coming to an end of comic book movies.
I think we are, man. I think it might be over.
It's done.
Thank you, Marvel, for fucking it all up.
Thank you, DC, for helping.
Because for a while, DC has never been able to actually launch, right? Failure to launch situation. And so people were enjoying Marvel, hating on DC, living the dream doing this, right? But it was when Marvel started to suck, people said, is there nothing good out there?
Right.
And so Marvel, all they had to do was keep their nose clean and actually, dare I say, made conservative movies. And I don't mean politically. I meant conservative in choice. Maybe Eternals, an artistic movie where there's no action, might not have been the movie to make. Maybe making Black Widow a comedy rather than a spy thriller was not the move.
Right.
You know, they made a lot of these phase 4 idiotic mistakes. It's like, we're going to start experimenting. Do you really want to start experimenting? Just make money, man.
Right.
Give us the things that we want to fucking see.
I'm here with you. I'm here with you, man. I am here with you.
Matt says, I want Ana de Armas as Wonder Woman, and I agree. I am in love with Ana de Armas. She is my queen.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Ana de Armas is? That's actually funny because she used to go out with Ben Affleck.
I don't know who that is.
She's gorgeous, and she's Cuban. That's all.
I don't know who that is.
He says, we got the Batman instead. You're right. And that's the horrible thing. You know what's funny?
If I have to hear one more fucking person defend that movie's fight scenes,
Shaolin hates it, and so he's being sarcastic.
I know, not Shaolin. I'm saying in general, if I have to hear one more person say, "Well, I thought the Batman gave us an accurate Batman fight scene," I'm like, "What the fuck?"
There were no good fight scenes. He fights like an idiot in that.
I think your mother should have swallowed you instead of birthing you. Like it's a horrible representation of Batman, man. It's horrible.
He can't be he's not a good detective. He's not sneaky. He uses the front door. He loses all the time, and that's in that movie. I don't. Here's what I'm saying. I understand the whole murder mystery stuff was interesting. He didn't even solve the murder.
No, he didn't speak Spanish. He lacked the necessary skills.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to speak Spanish. The real Batman speaks like 20 languages.
Right. It's true, bro.
And Matt says, no, I need comic book movies. The problem is I think they're going to slowly start cutting the budget of superhero movies until we're down to like CW stuff.
You like Cubans, Mantis?
Yeah, I am Cuban, actually. I'm part Cuban. So I do love Cubans. We can talk about Castro and make love by the sea.
Whoa.
I'll take Ana de Armas as the DC Catwoman also. That would have been amazing in a Batfleck movie. So anyway, they greenlit all these movies, never made any of them. They destroyed their own visions. Actually, the person I blame is Walter Hamada. Most people don't even know who that is. He's an exec there.
He's a loser.
He had beef with Snyder. He didn't want Snyder to have his vision, and he did everything to try to fuck with Snyder. We're having some sort of corporate war thing behind closed doors. He ended up getting fired, thank God. That was great.
Actually, given current events in my life, I actually sympathize with him a little bit. It's like, hey, your position doesn't exist anymore. He's like, am I fired? They're like, no. It's just that
you're not getting paid anymore. You can hang out. It's all good.
It's all good, baby. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. It is tough. It is tough in these things, in these worlds. But however, I feel like I would hire you to run the DCEU way before Walter and way before Gunn.
So let's get to something. Let's get back to something in regards to the flop, right? So I think we might be at a point of not superhero movie exhaustion, but lack of content where people can enjoy it, right? So this is the problem when you listen to people like Scorsese, Jennifer Lopez. I don't know why you would listen to Jennifer Lopez about anything. She's a subpar singer, right? She's an amazing entertainer, but her and Janet Jackson and Britney Spears all exist in the same place of the talentless talent that has made
Yes. I think she's had her day, and she's not as eternal as she thinks she is.
right. I agree with that. So here's the issue, though: the audience at 15 on average $15 per ticket, right? Maybe 12 for a child and AMC, depending on what state you live in. We deserve to be entertained for that amount of money. So you went to go see Transformers the other day. You bought popcorn, you bought a drink, you paid for a train ticket, you paid for tickets. That was probably $100 day for you, right?
Yeah.
Close to $100.
Yeah.
You deserve a little bit more than what's being presented. You're not a toxic fan for expecting to go to a place where you are to be entertained and have an experience. This is where I disagree with Scorsese, right? Marvel movies should be a fucking experience, right?
Yeah.
What type of idiot gets up and says, "What's more like an experience than it is a film?" And I'm like, what the fuck does that
like, what are you talking about? You're right. It should be like a roller coaster. It should be like a day at Disney or Universal Studios. You know, absolutely. That's why we go to the movies. And Scorsese, I mean, his last movie was a freaking 6-hour movie about the subtleties of union negotiations in the taxi scene. It's insane.
The Irishman was the college film where someone told that person, like, man, more dialogue. No. More dialogue.
Longer shots. Just painting on his face for a long time.
Take one more shot of the ring. One more shot. Pan into the fucking ring.
Oh my god. And so he's not putting out bangers anymore. So like,
no, fuck him. So here's the thing, man. And I feel as if though people missed out on an opportunity to enjoy the Flash, but I don't blame them in the sense of not going to see it.
They must be tired of this shit. Everything going on in the DC realm.
Yeah, you got all the bullshit that happened with Black Adam and fucking James Gunn, which I think in retrospect, people are gonna look at it and they're gonna maybe we should have just let The Rock run this shit.
I agree with that so much. Because you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna greenlight anything that's fun and cool.
Right.
He's gonna be like, do it, and they're like, we're gonna blow up, blah blah blah. He's like, do it. Have fun, guys. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? He would bring the WWE to fucking a movie, and that's what I want to see. Spectacle,
bro.
I'm saying he would have had a movie. If people are like, it would be the worst thing in the world if it was Black Adam versus Justice League. No, it wouldn't. I would love to see that.
That would have been fucking amazing. You know what's crazy though, man? And just tell me what you think about this. I want to throw something at you here, man. Right? So James Gunn, who I think may have outstayed his welcome. And James, I just want to make sure I reiterate this. I'm not Grace Randolph. I will never misquote you. I will never make a claim of something that's going to happen without any fact. But also, if you ever came at me on Twitter, I wouldn't respond. If I and Mantis were ever elevated to a state where we were in the same place as you, I'm like, James, Steve, real name, no gimmicks. One of the hosts of Fanboy Modeling School. You said some very colorful things about me on Twitter, and now I'm taking off my jacket so we can have a gentleman's duel. Right. I'm gonna beat your bitch ass in front of your.
I absolutely agree. I would do the Young Ripper thing, where he says he's gonna meet up with people at the conventions. Like when people talk shit, he's just like, "When's your next convention? I'm gonna be at your booth." You're gonna say that to my face?
Exactly, which is going to lend to one of our next stories. But I got to tell you, I just want to turn it over for you, man. I just want you to like go off full tilt here. I gave The Flash an 8 out of 10. Right, my 8s out of 10s are typically more nostalgic, experiential because I'm going to see it with my kid. I went to go see it with my best friend. I enjoyed the movie. I really should have gave it a 9 out of 10, but I gave it a conservative 8 out of 10. Mostly the 2 points were lost due to the CGI, but I have to tell you, movie experience, I had a great time watching that movie. I had so much fun. I laughed. I forgot about the fat, fucking obese pieces of shit that was sitting in front of me eating fucking
Oh, the
chilies.
evil. Yo, guys, at the start of our movie, a family of
Fat
people
people.
showed up and they smuggled food in from the food
Which
court
is fine, which
from the
is
mall.
fine, which
And
is
it was
fine.
reeking. It was just smelling, and I was just smelling their Chinese food. It was like it was everything. It was KFC. It was they were all just beasting down there, and they were crinkling bags, and you smell it was wafting in our face because we were about behind them, and I was like, I
Bro,
was gonna reach over.
literally at one point, man, these people sat in front of me, and the dad, who I was hoping was gonna sit in front of Mantis, who was the same height as me and Mantis, sat in front of me. And one of my pet peeves is when you have the automatic recliner chairs and it's just standard seats. He sat down and pushed his seat all the way to my knees. And I remember Mantis was looking at me because I'm looking at this
You
motherfucker.
looked like you were gonna murder. You were going to murder this man. Like I looked over, I was like thinking, I was like, should I say something? Is something like,
I think you
are we
made a
getting thrown
joke.
out of the class?
I think you made a joke, and I'm just like looking at the top of this dude's head. But in spite of all that, I had such a great time, Mantis. And this was what I love about comic book movies, because everything that was shown in the trailer was a complete red herring. And the movie I got had nothing to do with any of the speculation, all the
Yes.
bullshit reviews. I didn't give a fuck about Tom Cruise's review. I sat down and I enjoyed Ezra Miller play two characters, the same character, but two versions of that character. And I just gotta be honest, man. At no point did I go, "Oh, this is Ezra Miller." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not since Double Impact have I been impressed by such an amazing performance. And that was just like,
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I 1000% agree. Damn, I went through this thing.
pause.
Uh, but I seriously, totally and utterly agree. I give it a 9. And here's why. Although when I was turned off by the special effects in the beginning, I, however,
Just got lost in the movie.
allowed the story to take me away, and I ignored the special effects issues that I had, and I just was taken by the story. The story made me laugh. It made me cry. It certainly never made me bored. I
No,
was never looking at my watch and never wanting to pull out my cell phone. I was just like, I'm having a good time. And the times when they hit those notes that are powerful, like in my opinion, a good superhero origin is gonna make you cry.
yeah.
Superman, if you see the original Superman from 1979, when his father has to put him into the thing, I know we're all into Henry Cavill and I love Henry Cavill and stuff like, but Marlon Brando playing Jor-El, putting his only son, and he's like, I put I put our planet's hopes and joys and fears and love in you, son. Go
Right.
in peace. And you just start crying. If you look at Batman, when his parents were killed in that alley, it will make you cry. And The Flash is one of those perfect
Yes.
origins.
Yeah, it's
And
a perfect movie.
yeah, it really is. Revisiting the death of his mother, it was so powerful, and I just was so thankful for it.
Yeah, it was a feel good situation. I just gotta be completely honest with you, man. It was the perfect send off up until the post credits.
Yeah, it was. They wasted that's another thing. I can't stand it. Maybe I should lose an entire point for that because I can't stand it. Yo, guys, there's an end credit scene, and it's so lame. You just like waste your time. Like I hate feeling that I even though it's so little, like credits aren't really that long, but like you wasted your time sitting in the theater waiting for an end credit scene, and it was stupid.
Yeah, it was completely stupid. I want to get into some fucking bullshit now, man.
Wait, before we do, I really want to finish up with our thoughts down there because there were a couple good comments down here. Matt says the Batman is pure trash. Reeves doesn't understand Batman. I don't even think he likes Batman. I would agree. He really made Seven.
And he
with the
hates Batman.
Yeah, he really hates. He has disdain for him.
He hates Batman the same way the showrunner and the writers for The Witcher hate The Witcher. Now, I usually, Mantis, you know me, I don't get into this bullshit, right? But I am convinced convinced these people loathe the source material. They hate the source material. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it because these motherfuckers all think that they're going to reinvent the wheel and there's something wrong with the way this character's been designed. And never mind, bro.
Yeah, that's what X-Men did. That's what the X-Men. That's what Bryan Singer keeps saying. Is it? He thinks he's so proud that he reinvented Wolverine. And like, I understand we love Logan, and I gotta say there is a good trilogy of Wolverine movies there, but
Yeah.
it could have been way better. It could have been more comics accurate.
Actually, I would say the Wolverine and then Logan is the best example we've seen of course correction for a franchise.
Yo, so check out my trilogy. Check out what I think the real trilogy is. Fuck Origins. I think it starts with the Wolverine. Then you have X-Men Days of Future Past.
Oh,
Then you have Logan, and that makes a perfect trilogy.
motherfucker, for a light-skinned dude, you're pretty smart. Pretty smart. Pretty smart. I like that.
Ari says if superhero budgets get cut, what would they make at DC and Marvel? I don't know. I fear those movies. I fear looking at them. I wish J-Lo and Selena had switched places.
That's a hard shot, man. That's a hard shot.
Wow. That's hard. Christ. Getting really tired of seeing The Rock in movies. I'm not. Because I don't watch Fast and Furious movies. I like it when I see them.
God, if you're still watching those movies, you need therapy.
Yeah, because almost no one watched the new one, right? I agree with the Rock comment is getting annoying, so sorry. And then there's just a lot of laughter. Everyone's laughing. Look, so don't stay, okay? Wait, what? Yeah, I love the character, but it wasn't good. Yeah, the end credit scenes, man.
Yeah, no.
Wolverine is garbage. Which movie though? Because I would say I do like the Wolverine. I actually like
the Wolverine is not. Yes, Shaolin says over in my stream. Damn Steve. Oh no, he's singing in the common stream. Damn Steve. Therapy though? Yes, indeed. If you're still watching the Fast and Furious movies, but you have a hard critique on superhero movies, you need therapy. There's a cognitive dissonance going on there, a dissociative fucking disorder going on there.
So the question is, Shaolin has not revealed. Lainey says she's going to go see The Flash tomorrow. Ari and DT Tubbs are pretty silent on this one. We know Matt's seen it, but Shaolin has not revealed whether he's seen it or not seen it. What's the deal, Shaolin? I can't think of anyone to take over Jackman's place.
I can think of 4 people, but I don't know if they're going to do as good as Jackman because he is a thespian. Hugh Jackman is a thespian. He's a great actor, man, and he gives himself to every part of the role. They should not have let him direct Origins. That was the fucking worst move anyone's ever. Not direct. I'm sorry. He was like a producer, creator.
I was dating this girl named Sarah. Shout out to Sarah, wherever the fuck you are. And she used
hell, that's where she is. She's in hell.
Probably when you hear what it goes on. She used to hate it when I would take her to boy movies. And I dragged her to that. And I never heard the end of it.
Which one? What'd you drag her to what?
Origins, Wolverine Origins. She was like, that was the worst movie ever. You're an animal. You're an idiot. You're a fool. And I couldn't fight her. I was like, she's got a point. Wolverine Origins
horrible fucking movie, man.
Was horrible. Shaolin says I haven't seen it yet. You, I know you're trying to avoid it. You better go see it. It's actually really good. I don't want to see Hugh Jackman anymore. Yeah, wait, hold on. I will watch him one more time.
I'm gonna watch him in this Deadpool.
Yeah, yes. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a huge fun time, and hopefully, he will wear a Wolverine costume. Put on a fucking Wolverine costume, Jesus Christ.
I gotta say something, man. I remember before my fall from I don't want to say fall from grace, but falling out of love with Grace, right? One of the last things that she reviewed that I really enjoyed her review on it as a fan was her review of Logan. Do you remember this? She released this video, man. It was like her standard video. She's going over it. This is after her making she had a huge problem with the Deadpool fucking pre-trailer before Logan. And she was like, this just seemed like, do you remember the pre-trailer for Deadpool 2?
I don't. What was the issue?
So the issue she had was that it was basically Deadpool and, Ryan Reynolds busts out into the costume. It's an old man getting robbed and he needs help, and he winds up getting murdered, and she had a
Yeah,
huge
because Grace has no sense of humor.
right.
Has no
Murder is
you
always
know.
funny. It's always funny. So, here's the thing, right? I remember her review of Logan. She actually teared up. She cried on stream, and I mean, this was a real authentic moment.
She's cried sometimes. She's shown that she has a human emotion
She
somewhere.
cried at the scene when Patrick Stewart gets killed by, fake Logan,
Oh,
and
fake Logan.
she cried at the fact that the real Logan shows up, and he's like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do this." Because we still were dealing with the fact that, like, Patrick Stewart, not Logan, was the fact that the X-Men had died. So if you actually read, Old Man Logan, you find out that Wolverine fucking killed
Yeah,
every
I
member of the.
actually hate that part of Old Man Logan. I fucking hate it.
You know what though? It's deep. That's meta deep commentary on comics. Do you remember after Days of Future Past when Bishop showed up? You remember he showed up to save the X-Men from the betrayer
Right.
within. And he thought Gambit was the betrayer. And then we all thought Gambit was, then we thought Sabretooth was. And they never really tied that knot. Like you find out it's Sabretooth. What's really interesting, and this is really good writing, for them to do the Old Man Logan story, you find out it's actually Logan who
Yeah.
betrays the X-Men.
But you know what? You know what I can't stand about it? The person who tricks him into doing it is Mysterio.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like,
I'm
who
not
who
buying
is Mysterio? Mysterio is not a big enough gun to do that, in my opinion.
especially not to a Logan. So if we remember the Marvel cards, Logan and Daredevil. Okay, here's a better example.
Yeah, best senses. They have the heightened senses, so they
Do
could
you
detect
remember
anything.
do you remember Infinity War? Infinity War proper, the comic, not
Yeah,
the movie. Do you remember that Daredevil didn't sense that Reed Richards had been taken over by a doppelganger? Do you remember who it was that
it
sensed
was
it?
Wolverine
It was
smell.
fucking Wolverine, bro.
The smell, yeah, you cannot get past the smell. So I didn't fully buy that. I was like, Mysterio could not trick Wolverine. But I'm being a comic nerd right now. I'm being a total comic nerd right now.
But she cried, man, and I'm tying this all into the Flash, bro. She cried the same way I had the first time I saw Logan, man, I had this deep moment where I was just like, "Fuck, man." There was so many problems with the X-Men, so many problems with these movies, and then we got Days of Future Past, which I thought was an amazing movie,
Amazing.
and then we got Logan, which I thought was a fucking amazing movie, and I was like, "Wow, this shows you that like this shit can go deeper." The Flash went deeper, bro. It went deeper. There's literally a part. I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's literally a part where you understand the madness of time travel and trying to change things.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that is thing, and I love it too. That even as a viewer, I even said, and in movies, trust me, all the time I was like saying, I say to myself, "Why don't you guys do this? Why don't you guys do this?" But even in the movie of watching the Flash, I was like, "Just give up, guys. You
give
can't
up.
change. You can't change the future, man. Just give up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The movie is a very big theme of the movie is about letting go, and I dig it.
Okay, so now that man, you're a fucking genius. We got to get into it. So, did you watch Grace's review? Did you watch Grace review of the Flash?
I might have. Sometimes I turn on her videos, and within like a minute or two, I'm like, I'm out.
All right, I gotta admit, she nailed on. She touched on this topic of the whole theme being just letting go, and it did appear to me. I agree with her that is some meta commentary on DC as a franchise's movies.
Because always thought of this as the last DCEU movie. I don't know. I know people are like, well, there's um Aquaman and the Kingdom of the Lost, blah blah blah, whatever. We all know this is the last one.
So, just letting go. Is it time for us as fans to just let go and see what happens next?
Yes, wait, hold on. I agree with you. Yes, it is. It is time for us to let go. However, we should not just blindly, like, for instance, I shouldn't just show up to Superman Legacy without any thought or process to it.
No, of course you should. Of
And of
course.
course you should.
You should show up. No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. You
Oh,
should
right,
not
right.
just show up.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like I have starting to let go of all these franchises. Marvel too. If Marvel never makes a good movie, I might never go to one.
No, see, but that's different than what she's saying. Just letting go of this franchise.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
I'm done with Snyder. I understand Snyder didn't win. I'm not gonna keep fighting it. I'm not. I kept hashtagging on Twitter like every day for like 2 months straight. Fire James Gunn. I didn't.
I remember.
I was that asshole who was like, I was putting all over the place. I thought I was like, maybe I'll make a difference. I'm not gonna make a difference.
No,
This
you're not.
shit's over. I've accepted that the Snyder universe is over. I'm gonna get all its movies on Blu-ray, and I'm gonna have that collection, and I'll be able to enjoy what I can enjoy.
Right.
But I'm not sure if I'm ready for the next phase. I think that I might be like, okay, I'm good.
It's crazy, man. Actually, I want to bump my score up. I'm taking it from an 8 to a 9. In retrospect, what can move the needle for me is the conversational portion of a movie and reminiscing over it. And I just got to be honest, man. It's up there. It's up there as one of my favorite movies. If you know me well enough, you'll know at the precipice of my movies I enjoy, Fight Club is up there, man.
Right.
Because it's about how it impacted me. Fight Club impacted me deeply. I remember when you guys sat me down and you were like, "Yo, you need to watch High Fidelity." I'm like, I'm not fucking watching a John Cusack movie.
Exactly. It makes a lot of good movies, man.
He does, and I didn't know that before High Fidelity. I watched that movie and I was like, "It's fucking amazing, man." I would not have gone to see Days of Future Past had you not suggested. I remember when I called you and I was like, "Yo, it's good," and you were like, "Are you gonna go see it?" And I'm like, "Saw First Class. Don't know if I want to do that again." Like, enjoyed it.
It was really good. It was really good. It's funny. Like a lot of people are haters because they're like, they made Wolverine the main character. I'm like, that's better than Kitty Pryde. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Matt says, "Oh, Mantis, you didn't love that girl Sarah, taking her to such a trash movie." I didn't know it was gonna suck.
He didn't know the relationship was gonna fail.
Yeah. Shellin says, "I'm sorry. I'm ready to move on, recast the X-Men and start fresh and hopefully more accurately." I mean, I agree with that. But if Deadpool is gonna do one more nostalgic ride, I can't wait. Actually, I can't really wait for.
I actually think Deadpool 3 was sorry. Was it 3?
Well,
No,
no,
Deadpool
it's had two.
2. Deadpool 2. It's one of those movies, I gotta be honest with you, man. Not only did it revive the career of a band that did an unplug that came out a few years before that. Yeah. That Aha Unplug Take On Me song, that came out a couple of years prior to the movie.
Oh, okay.
But in retrospect, I've watched Deadpool the sequel a couple of times now. I hated it when I saw it in the theaters, and I love it now. I'm just saying this, man. The Flash was damn near as perfect as a goodbye as you could say. The only thing that would have made the movie better, like could have added to it, would have been acknowledging the Flash from the CW. I think that, fair game. That should have been done because that is the superior
They
Flash.
went out of their way to shit on the CW, to like not acknowledge that any of their shows or their things.
While the CW acknowledged the piss poor Flash.
Yes. Even when he was at the height of piss poorness, people hated the Flash at the time. Hated Ezra Miller at the time.
Right.
They still put him in there.
Right.
Oh, Matt says Grace did a good job of connecting undertones and context, like the commentary of soldiers in battle with the veterans and the rookies in war.
Yes.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He's referring to the scene with the Flash and young Flash versus the Kryptonians, because you have to really think about this for a second without any spoilers. Yes, the Flash is bar none way faster than Superman. Faster than faster than what's represented in this movie. But he's still fighting Kryptonians.
Yeah, Kryptonians. I told you, like on the drive home, I was just like, well, for starters, you cannot do a backbreaker to a Kryptonian just because you're super fast, because they're super hard and you're gonna break your knee.
Right. You do have to take into I was thinking about that statement after you said it. You have to take into consideration the Speed Force is like Batman. It's God tier.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, they just let it do whatever it's done. Like,
It does what it
for instance,
wants.
him phasing through walls, he's always been able to do it. It doesn't really make sense if you think about it, but why not? Let's go.
The Speed Force is the perfect. Yo, can we bounce off of this? Because I'm ready to get into some bullshit.
Okay, no, I'm fine. The ending where Deadpool goes back in time and kills Ryan Reynolds before he could do Green Lantern, I am crying thinking about it. That was hysterical. And I love how he kills Hitler as a baby. That's fucking great.
Amazing. So, DJ Vlad.
Okay, let's get into some bullshit. Tell us about DJ Vlad.
DJ Vlad, commentator, actual DJ from back in the 90s era to early 2000 era of hip hop, has become known as DJ Vlad TV on YouTube. One of the OGs on that platform, man. He's been doing it for a while. Interviews, commentary. He's famous and notorious for never being on camera during his own interviews on his own channel, right? Doesn't want to steal the spotlight from the people he's interviewing. DJ Vlad
a
hero. He's done this thing for a while. DJ Vlad has been accused of being a culture vulture, right? He's been accused of being an op. I would say up to 3 people who've been on Vlad's platform, maybe 2. We'll leave it safe at 2, right? Have been indicted and gone to prison
for things they've said on his show.
On his show. Now, he's never coaxed them into saying it. He's on record saying that I've tried to talk these guys out of drinking before they come on my show, drinking and smoking. But this ties into our whole Boosie Badass. Boosie Badass is a regular on DJ Vlad. If you don't know who he is, doesn't matter. But you might recognize him if I say he's the guy, the little old black looking guy that got into it with Lil Nas X on Twitter. And they went back and forth for a full year. Boosie Badass was facing some state charges in regards to being a convicted felon and having a firearm. The state decided, if you're not familiar with the way this process works, state decided to drop the charges, which usually means they don't have enough evidence to convict. And he's leaving the courthouse after the state decided not to pursue the charges, only to get picked up by the feds literally as he's walking out the courthouse, Mantis.
Well, they set that up. They're like, we're not going to pursue
100%.
local things so that you can hit him with the federal shit.
Yeah, so the feds cuffed him, took him away. He's selling his car.
Can I interject real quick?
I
cannot fucking stand, and this isn't about a right to bear arms issue right now, what I'm about to say, but I cannot stand. People always say cops use drug or the smell of drugs as an excuse to fuck with people. No, they use gun charges more often than any other thing to fuck with somebody.
Yes.
They're like, you're convicted, whatever. Why do you have a piece in your car? Why do you have a piece in your room? Why do you whatever? More rappers go to jail for just a simple gun charge. And when you think gun charge, like people are like, rappers, they must have fucking a bunch of assault weapons. No, they have a fucking handgun.
Right.
They have a 22 in their Tim, and they fucking go to jail for years. It's a horrible misrepresentation of justice.
Right. And the fact that the feds can pick you up after it's dismissed by the state is it is what it is. I'm not going to.
It is absolutely fucked up. They do it on the regular, so they would argue no. This is legit. Obviously, I would say this is some corrupt shit.
So we got to examine a few terms in here, and I got to use the bathroom, so I'm going to leave it to Mantis to help you examine these terms. So we got to look at terms like culture vulture, right? What does that mean? What does it mean to be a culture vulture? 2, does the next thing Mantis is going to get into, is Vlad causing people to get picked up? Because now we know with everything going on with Young Thug that the feds, the cops, everyone's watching what you do on social media. Is that necessarily DJ Vlad's fault?
3, it's not. I think it's funny that people blame him, but he is not to blame, I think.
3, right? Uncle Mantis is going to take you through it. Should DJ Vlad stop doing these interviews with rappers that have pending charges? Is that his responsibility? Go. I'll be right back.
Okay. So for starters, a culture vulture, what is it? So a culture vulture, if anyone is a fan of Atlanta, season 1 has soldiers, Paperboy ends up meeting up with a guy who's obsessed with social media, and he has all these different social media personas, and he's trying to make it like rapping rap music, and he's sick of it, and he says to him, he says, "You're exploiting rap." And the guy who's exploiting rap says, "No, you're exploiting rap. I'm exploiting you exploiting rap." What? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, anyone who is a content creator, me and Steve included, are
Steven
on
I.
some. Don't you come at me with the white man's language. Don't you come at me with the white man's language. We're talking shit. So me and Steve included, we are in some level culture vultures. We look at the doldrums and the grossness of society, and we're like, we're gonna prey on that. An example, we're gonna do a Call of Groomers conversation later on, and we're looking at these guys fighting, and we're like, we're gonna prey on that, and we're gonna pick apart, and we're like, we're gonna use it for clicks.
Yes.
Is he a culture vulture? At the end of the day, I have no faith in any YouTuber, any TikToker. I think we're all culture vultures at the end of the day. I find myself doing stories both on Audilis and here that I would not normally, but I'm like, it's gonna get me clicks if I talk about Taylor Swift. Fuck this bitch. You know what I'm saying? We are all hoping for this day when somebody fucks up in front of us so we could take a snap of it and we're like, I'm gonna do a live stream on this. So I cannot blame this guy. What he's doing is normal internet hustle. Is it mentally healthy? I think it's not mentally healthy. I think the way we are all culture vultures is not good for anybody. It's not good for business. It's not good for our own mental health.
Okay. Honestly, I would agree with that assessment. I would agree with that assessment. And here's my thing about DJ Vlad, right? I hold him to the same standard as any other internet journalist or radio jockey or anyone else, man. He has the right to cover what's going on in the subculture of any culture, right? Hip hop is a subculture. It is not black culture. This is a subculture. It's a subculture, man. And he has the right to commentate and like respond to that type of stuff. And the crazy thing about it is Vlad's not asking these dudes to snitch on themselves. In fact, he's just saying, "Hey, I heard you had a situation." If you're going to hold him to that standard, you're going to hold Barbara Walters and all these other classical journalists to the standard, man.
Yes, you're so right. Because honestly, like, how can you not ask? You have a rapper on, and you're like, I understand you're facing charges on something. You want to talk about that? They shouldn't. They should probably their lawyer told them to shut the fuck up, and they do it anyway. And that's the whole thing. That's the problem. They're snitching on themselves.
Right.
But a reporter, any reporter worth his salt is going to at least ask.
Right. 100%.
You've got to at least ask and see what they say about it. Now, obviously, the well-trained interviewee will be like, no comment, bro. Can't talk about it. You know how it is. But they always have, even the most professional. If you go on David Muir is going to be like, "So Mantis, I understand you're facing charges." And I'll be like, "Thanks for asking, Dave, but I can't talk about it. My lawyer told me not to discuss." And so DT Dubs, I love this. He says, "No, I'm not, Mantis." He likes to say he's not a culture vulture. I love you, DT Dubs.
Man, DT, I love you like a fat kid loves cake.
You are a culture vulture.
You're a culture vulture, 100%.
You are preying on that shit. You find your whole time. You're like, what's the hashtag this week? I'm gonna get on that shit. We're all trying to jump on someone's algorithm. That's the fucked up part about it. Like this week, I'm fucking with Meghan Markle's crash and burn situation. It's great for hits, man. It's great.
So here's the thing about Meghan. That's fucking amazing. Here's the thing about the Meghan Markle situation. You fucking prick. You know how to pronounce her last name. Here's the thing about that situation, and even in regards juxtaposed to the whole Vlad scenario, right, man? You have the ability. So let's say you do think he's a culture vulture. Is that not your responsibility to reject him? Do you not have the responsibility to go, hey, I'm not going on here. I think you are, negative and a detriment to my people
Can I
or
not be entertained?
not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm
Oh
talking
no, but
about
I'm
you.
saying people. Like, do people not have the right to be entertained? And be like,
People have the
I
right to be
want to watch a
entertained.
culture vulture act like a prick in finals. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing, right? As a creative, right? If I'm just as you stated, marred in controversy, going through strife, there are people I'm not going on their show. Bottom line, right? And no shots at Vlad because he is an OG at this shit. And no shots at Star. I love Star. Star is literally one of my fucking like inspirations.
I love Star. I absolutely love the Star.
But I'm not going on their fucking shows.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
controversy
And
going on.
you know when you're gonna get the call for Star? It's when you're gonna be embroiled in controversy.
100%.
When you are caught dating Rihanna and then beating her up in the back of your limo.
Hey, you want to come on the show next week?
That's when he's gonna fucking call you and be like, "Yo, Steve, Hold Up TV, always been a fan. You want to come through the show and talk?"
No, I don't. No, I don't. So, and I think that the Vlad conversation really lends itself to our last topic, which is the Nick Merckx, Dr.
Absolutely.
Disrespect, Hassan. Why do I always want to call this dude Hassan Campbell? Is that his last name?
No, it's no, Hassan Piker is his name, but he calls himself. He has like an Arab name for his thing. It's Hassan something or other, Hassan an Abi or something, because it means like Hassan the student or something. He's trying to be like trying to be a culture vulture.
Not going into all that nonsense. Nonsense.
REM says that's why we have EW and TMZ exactly, and I watch them every night so I can be hip. Matt says I don't care what you think. I'm as long as you think I'm thin. Plus, as long as it makes me money, I'll tear that carcass up.
Oh boy. So, in regards to the whole Nick Merckx Call of Duty conversation, right? I don't know if you're up to speed on this. I forget what state, what city it happened in, but there was something that just happened recently where the LGBTQ plus flag had been removed. There was a local government that was saying, "Hey, there's no reason for us to fly this flag." And it was a repeal, right? They were repealing the right for that flag to be not the right.
It has no rights, but yeah. On the basis that it's a political movement and not any other thing. And so, like, for instance, in my town, I walk by and the police station has one of those flags up, and I'm thinking, why do you have a political movement flag up on your shit?
Social justice movement, right?
Right.
Like social commentaries, at any rate. So in regards to the whole Nick Merckx situation, man, and this is what it ties into the Vlad situation completely well, right? I think Dr. Disrespect, Merckx, Nick Merckx and Tim the Tatman knew they wouldn't catch hell over this shit, right? They knew they wouldn't catch hell over it. And they were stepping into the sphere. They're gamers, right? They're gamers. They do gaming content. They do gaming live streams. And they knew when Nick Merckx made this tweet, part of them had to know he was stepping into another sphere, right? You're stepping into the commentary sphere. Case real quick, in case you don't understand, if you don't understand, in regards to social engineering, YouTubing, all this shit, man, once you step into the political sphere, all bets are off.
Right. You don't know what's happening in your career. You don't know what's going left and right. Who's your friend anymore? Could lose everyone. You could gain everyone. You don't fucking know.
Exactly. That, my brother, that is the most accurate. Like, you have a thought, that thought could cost you everything unless it aligns with the popular thought. Nick Merckx said they should leave children alone in regards to right.
So my take on it, my understanding is that it's so here's what it is. Why if you ever notice, if you looked back 3, 4 years ago, people were not pushing back against this. People were just saying, you know what, these people are oppressed, we're gonna let it go, blah, 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 blah. But now in this day and age, you see people pushing back because honestly, people are fed up. Even someone as a gamer, I've got a really crazy question for everybody. Why does a gamer, a streamer, Call of Duty have to even comment or worry about any of this? And the first question is people like, he should have shut up. Well, maybe it's possible that he was forced into this conversation because everyone is forced in this conversation.
Right?
I can't play video games without talking about LGBTQ stuff.
Bro, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. He responded to someone else's tweet. This was not a blind tweet. He shot out and said, "This is my thought."
He was just like,
Fuck
fuck
you."
these motherfuckers.
No, he responded to someone else's tweet, which was, "I think they should leave children alone." And that tweet was in response to someone else's tweet about love being love. In actuality, what Nick Merckx was saying is, I think that the school board, these people, these professionals should leave children alone. The conversation should not involve children. Dr. Disrespect showed a level of respect to his buddy. And then Hassan had something to say about Dr. Disrespect, taking a shot at Dr. Disrespect and saying he's shown more loyalty to Nick Merckx than he's shown to his own wife. So I don't know if you're up to speed on this.
What did he do to his, I know he had problems with his wife, which is probably that's what led to him getting kicked off in the first place.
No. So once upon a time, Dr. Disrespect cheated on his wife with another streamer. Not really any of our business.
Right. Totally not my business.
But his wife chose to take him back. Right. And if she chose not to, that's her business as well. We got to respect that, right? Because even the Bible says that infidelity is, it's at the discretion of the fucking partner. Now, some Christians are going to come for me, but you know that I know that that is one of the reasons you can get divorced. You
Right. Yeah.
You cheat on your wife.
An agreeing upon separation is biblical.
Yeah. So, but his wife, who he refers to as I forget, he has a cute name for her, Mrs. Assassin or something like that. They chose to work it out. As far as we know, there have been no other charges of infidelity or anything like that. A lot of people tried to claim that's why he got kicked off Twitch, but it's not. That's not the reason.
Right. I thought it was too for the longest, actually.
But it's not. It's not. We covered this on just it isn't. It isn't. We follow.
By the way, Ari, we are going to talk about Miranda in a little bit. First, we're going to talk about the Call of Duty thing.
So to wrap it up, so we can get to that, man. Hassan went low.
Hassan went low, but Hassan always goes low.
And then Dr. Disrespect, but we'll call him Dr. Respect
because he was so respectful.
He was like, you know what? You just got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on your bubble. You got to focus on your tribe. And he literally said, Hassan, this fat streamer, would never say these things to my face because he knows there are consequences for it. Your thoughts?
I think, for starters, I really do think it's interesting that a guy who is known as Dr. Disrespect is the most respectful dude in all of these arguments. Because people are going at each other's jugulars or whatever.
Always.
And he literally was just like, he was like, like when he heard about what Hassan said, you saw him and he was just like, honestly, you need to stick what you know, talk about what you know.
You want to play it? Do you want to play it?
You haven't?
I sent it to you.
Let's do this shit. We all love playing shit.
My God. Welcome in, Bex. Hashtag.
Oh, Princess Bex decided to show up.
Fangirls for fanboys.
Oh, she says that 4 hours late.
The shade The shade.
The shade room. Huh. Oh my god. What did you send me?
Bro. Click the link. Just click the
No, no,
link.
no. I'm there, but I'm saying, look at this shit.
Yeah. You gotta start it from the beginning. You gotta start from the beginning.
Hassan. He's so concerned about everything. He's concerned about the tube time and what it's like. This guy wouldn't. Anyways, just don't worry about anything except yourself and what's close to you and what matters to you. Right. By the way, that guy's. You talk about a phony. See, he wouldn't. See, that's the thing too. Like, he wouldn't say these type of things if we're standing next to each other. You know, he wouldn't. He knows there's repercussions. Right. Like, who's this fat phone?
No, let it rock. Let it rock again. Let it play again.
Hassan.
What is that image?
So concerned about everything. He's concerned about the tube
Jack.
time and what it's like. This guy wouldn't. Anyways, just don't worry about anything except yourself and what's close to you and what matters to you. Right. By the way, that guy's. You talk about a phony. See, he wouldn't. See, that's the thing too. Like, he would.
So wait, hold on. I gotta point out that this was edited. Dr. Disrespect is even more respectful about it because he's literally at first was just like, he's literally like, you should worry about things that are in front of you and have to do with your tribe and your people and in front of you, and just ignore it. And he was gonna ignore everything about Hassan, and people kept pushing him. And then finally he's like, well, I could talk about Hassan and what a phony he is, but I'm not.
Right.
And he did it in such a respectful way that I was just like, yo, this guy's a hero. However, all the best parts of his conversation was edited in this clip.
Yeah.
No,
100%.
Oh, look. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, so it is fascinating. So now here's the problem. Here's ultimately the problem. I'm a normal guy. I want to live my life. I want to stream. I want to play video games. I want to do whatever, man. And now LG. No, I'm not even going to say the whole letters. You know why? Because it's really just trans stuff.
Right.
Trans stuff encroaches into your life. What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air how this is intruding into my life. I don't know anymore because the reasonable response would be just like, hey, this is not about you and your decisions and how you live your life. This is about how parents are allowed to impact the lives of their kids. So the obvious argument would go like, hey, man, same thing happened during the civil rights era movement, and it's not the same. I stand on this. It's not the same. We were talking about the fundamental people trying to like point out a fundamental difference in the human species, right? They were trying to say that black people were less than, right? Not appropriate for. And that's just different, bro. It's just different, man. And like I'm so sick of having this conversation. But I am so proud that streamers are sticking together and willing to lay it all on the line because my huge critique about the right is rich people are not willing to lay anything down for these conversations. But here we have Nick Merckx, Tim the Tapman, Dr. Disrespect, who are Call of Duty streamers. This is
they should not
be the game they play.
They should not be called upon this to make these calls or these decisions. But here's what it's encroaching every aspect of your life that you have to. You're playing your game, you're minding your own business, and suddenly people are like, you have to chime in on trans sports. And you're like, what? What? I'm trying to play Call of Duty right now. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly, man.
It's totally crazy. I'm gonna play something.
Go for it.
The Bill Maher thing. This was from 9 months ago.
Play it.
Do you remember?
Play it.
I'm fucking playing it when you come fucking down, bro.
Play it, bro.
Why do you have a demon voice? Why do you have a demon voice? You ready?
Ready.
And finally, new rule: if something about the human race is changing at a previously unprecedented rate, we have to at least discuss it. Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z, which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
Yeah, right.
And then who's going to buy this chair? Just saying that when things change this much, this fast, people are allowed to ask, what's up with that? All the babies are in the wrong bodies? Was there a mix-up at the plant, like with Captain Crunch's Oops, All Berries?
Right. No.
It wasn't that long
On point, right?
On point.
Yeah.
ago when adults asked a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They meant what profession? In the wake of America about to lose abortion rights, the ACLU recently tweeted a list of those who would be disproportionately harmed
Oh
by
boy,
this.
here we go.
You would think women might top that list. No, wasn't even on the list. Second on the list was LGBT. Really? Abortion rights affects gay and trans people more than, breeders?
Oh boy.
I'm happy for LGBT folks that we now live in an age where they can live their authentic lives openly. And we should always be mindful of respecting and protecting. But someone needs to say it. Not everything's about you.
Oh, snap.
And it's okay to ask questions about something that's very new and involves children. The answer can't always be that anyone from a marginalized community is automatically right, trump card, mic drop, end of discussion. Because we're literally experimenting on children. Maybe that's why Sweden and Finland have stopped giving puberty blockers to kids. Because we just don't know much about the long-term effects. Although common sense should tell you that when you reverse the course of raging hormones, there's going to be problems. We do know it hinders the development of bone density, which is kind of important if you like having a skeleton. Fertility and the ability to have an orgasm seem also to be affected. This isn't just a lifestyle decision, it's medical. Weighing trade-offs is not bigotry. Yet when a book questioning the sudden uptick in transitioning children was released, a trans lawyer with the ACLU named Chase Strangio tweeted, stopping the circulation of this book and these ideas is 100% a hill I will die on. How very civil liberties of him. Chase, by the way, has just been named one of the grand marshals of this year's New York City Pride March, along with 3 other trans people and a lesbian. What's missing here? Oh, right, a gay man. That's where we are now. Gay men aren't hip enough for the gay pride parade. Wow. Compared to trans, gay is practically cis, and cis is practically Mormon. And this is a phenomenon we need to take into account when we look at this issue. Yes, part of the rise in LGBT numbers is from people feeling free enough to tell it to a pollster, and that's all to the good. But some of it is, it's trendy. Penis equals man. Okay, boomer. Remember, the prime directive of every teen is anything to shock and challenge the squares who brought you up. It's why nobody gets a nose ring at 56. And if you haven't noticed that with kids, doing something for the likes is more important than their own genitals, you haven't been paying attention.
Right.
Dr. Erica Anderson is a prominent 71-year-old clinical psychologist who is herself transgender and who now says, I think it's gone too far. The LA Times summarizes, she's come to believe that some children identifying as trans are falling under the influence of their peers and social media.
Right.
If you attend a small dinner
Boom.
party of typically very liberal, upper-income Angelenos, it is not uncommon to hear parents who each have a trans kid having a conversation about that. What are the odds of that happening in Youngstown, Ohio? If this spike in trans children is all natural, why is it regional? Either Ohio is shaming them or California is creating them.
Oof! Boom!
It's like that day we suddenly all needed bottled water all the time. If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't understand parents who won't let their 9-year-old walk to the corner without a helmet, an EpiPen, and a GPS tracker. And God forbid their lips touch dairy. But
Oh my God.
but hormone blockers and genital surgery, fine. Talk
Right?
about a
Right.
nut allergy.
Right. Amen.
Yeah, amen. Yeah.
I guess penises are gross now, but one might come in handy later on. And if you're a man who wants to experience life without a pair of balls, you do not have to get surgery. You can get married. I kid. Oh, we joke. And never forget, children are impressionable and very, very stupid.
And should be protected.
Kids don't
Yeah.
know why mom drinks every day or why dad has 2 cell phones.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
the boy who
This is
thinks
great.
he's a girl is just gay. Or whatever Frasier was. Maybe the girl who hates girly stuff just needs to learn that being female doesn't mean you have to act like a Kardashian.
Right.
Word.
Amen. Amen. Perfect way to end the show, bro. Perfect
Maybe
way.
childhood makes you sad sometimes, and there are other solutions besides hand me the dick saw. And look, I'm sure the vast majority of parents do not take this lightly, and that is very hard to know when something is real or just a phase. And I understand being trans is different, it's innate. But kids do also have phases. They're kids, it's all phases. The dinosaur phase, the Hello Kitty phase. One day they want to be an astronaut, the next day you can't get them to leave their room. Gender fluid, kids are fluid about everything. If kids knew what they wanted to be at age 8, the world would be filled with cowboys and princesses.
Word.
I wanted to be a pirate. Thank God nobody took me seriously and scheduled me for eye removal and peg leg surgery.
Absolutely
look at that.
Absolutely perfect commentary on that. Hey, since you're there, why not just look up that HBO Max January 6th trailer? No, never mind. But
I'll do it. You want me to look up the trailer?
no. Because the show will never end. We're at 144 right now, bro. I just gotta say, man, absolutely amazing commentary on it, and it's so great that it comes from someone who used to lean so hard left. And
yeah, he was super left in the 90s, right?
yeah, and now has like, there's a pragmatic way to look at these things, right? And the real question becomes, do your parents, not your abusive parents, not your socially distant parents, do your parents have the right to have these conversations with you? I believe so. I believe so. And as we embark on this new era of nonsense,
Wait, the question is, do parents have the right to?
yes, that's what
Parents are the only ones, in my opinion, to have the right to.
I know that, motherfucker. I know that.
Yeah. But
But-
what it is this idea that like other people, like for instance, New York State just passed a thing. This is ridiculous. This is literally the other day that if a kid wants to transition to a different gender, they have the right to not tell the parents.
Well, so here's the funny thing about that, Mantis, right? And everything is connected, and I believe in cause and effect, but I think there's an interconnectivity that happens with this type of stuff. There's a precedence that's set. And now, right, be prepared to be offended. Okay, here we go. This conversation started with abortion. And if you don't know the rule in the game of politics and social politics, one thing leads to another. Would you agree
Right.
with that, Mantis?
I would absolutely agree with that.
And the conversation about whether or not a young lady should have to disclose leads into this conversation. Now, inevitably, you'll get someone who is a center leftist, or you'll get someone that is far leftist that will say, no, these two things are not interconnected, but they are. If you understand politics and you understand the social game, you will know that they absolutely are. The things we decide on today will impact things that we're thinking about tomorrow. And that's my stance on it. Now, when it comes to parents and their children, let's make the assumption that every parent wants what's best for their child. Not marrying outside of their race, right? That really a huge conversational point? But
Can I interject?
Go for it.
I don't actually believe every parent wants the best for their kids, because kids throughout history have been used for the parents as something to gain social clout or status and yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying? And so there are parents who don't
Good point.
care.
Point.
You know, they want to use their kid. Whether you're using their kid to be like the social media guru to bring in money, and they're like, look at my kid, they're an influencer. Or they're just using their kid. They're like, let's have this kid marry someone rich so we can jump social classes. There are many examples of parents like using their children for bad shit.
No, 100%, 100%. I guess I was assuming the affirmative, but
it's because you love your kids and you don't realize that there could be people who like don't love your kids the way you do, and you should be applauded and you're a great father, but not everyone's like that.
No, there are people pretending to love my kids, but at the end of the day, I can't decide what direction my kids are going to go in, but it's my job as a parent to make sure I'm there for them 100%. So I'll leave it at that. Fanboy modeling school. We went Flash. We went DJ Vlad. That led to more LGBTQ nonsense.
It always does. Everything leads back to it because it's what people are talking about. Over on Autolist, I find it really hard to make comments without actually bringing that up because you have to avoid that.
Yo, real quick, if you're a praying person or you're candle lighting,
if you're spiritual, you love God, you
all
love
that type of nonsense, your boy is interviewing for a position on Autolist tomorrow. Your boy being me.
Yes, Steve for Streets. So
if I get the job, I gotta be honest with you. That means I only have time for one show, and that's Pillow Talk, which will be on Wednesday. No, two shows, obviously. Fanboy.
Oh,
like what, nigga?
What? Fuck that shit. I'm gonna go up to Leah's office and be like, fuck this, you need to fire him right now.
We'll have time for 2 shows. That would be Fanboy Modeling School every Monday here on YouTube, Kick and Rumble, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Kick is the new jam, isn't it?
It's a new jam.
It is the new jam.
Pillow Talk, also moving to various different places, but currently on Clubhouse. Hopefully I get this gig. It seems I don't think they would make you interview for a non-paying gig. Hopefully they wouldn't do that. Hopefully.
It's so I'll explain to you what the pay scale situation is, but
it's complicated.
It's hard to get paid, and they will still make you. You still have to be elite to do it, and they love. I don't want to say they love firing people, but they love firing people.
But I'm doing that tomorrow. I have my interview tomorrow at 5 p.m. For internet radio, and we'll see how that goes.
You were meant for this role. You're gonna be amazing. You're she's gonna be thanking. Well, maybe she'll forget I introduced you guys, but she will be thanking you at a certain point for helping her channel. Yo, can you read Lainey's comment? Because
there was a TikTok I saw recently. This mom holding her not even 1-year-old boy is shouting that this is my son and he's gay. He's not even 1. Seems like you're conditioning your child.
Yes.
Emotional damage.
DT Joe says, when did you guys come to my side? What are you talking about, bro? You don't you own the end of the spectrum.
Berlin, we've been on this side of the spectrum for so fucking
long. I've never
been talking about it, and that's why our videos never get views.
Exactly. That's why I'm banned on all these apps, man. Because they're like, this guy's gonna talk shit about it. And I'm like, I am, bitch. Leave the children alone. Leave them alone, Nick Marks. In the house. Matt says, I miss everything. I had to dip for a hot minute. But there are my thoughts. This community, and I think that it's the TQ and the pluses are pushing their culture onto people that don't want. Yes, I agree.
Well, Matt, I'm glad you said that.
TQ, yeah, I love that.
I'm going to speak it into existence as my spiritual brother.
Please let it go, brother. Let it out. This is what this podcast is about.
So it's amazing that you said that, Matt, because next week, Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on Conversations That Matter, on Fight Juice Online, because I don't know if StreamYard will work with my fucking channel. I'm actually going to be having a conversation about that with myself and you. I'm going to have a conversation about, is the entire community of the alphabet community in line with this lockstep and thought? So join me next week, 10 p.m. I'll probably have Mantis up. I'll have Bex up. I'm hoping to get D Love and DT Dub up there.
Yo, what day is it?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Matt says no one had an issue with drag shows until they involved kids. No one had an issue with sex changes until they involved kids. It's not about LGBT rights. It's about, yes, and that's what I'm saying. They are hiding behind LGBT rights. They're like, you're taking our rights away, blah, blah, blah. But they hide behind them so they can do some really sinister shit.
Yeah, and real quick, guys, the reason we might post a PayPal, a Cash App, or otherwise, this is the type of shit that costs people their jobs.
Yeah, we might get banned.
We can get banned and then fired.
Yeah, YouTube could be like, fuck this shit. Actually, I am thinking about my day job.
No, 100%. You don't understand. Having these type of conversations can cost you something. If you're a smaller YouTuber, it can cost you your 9 to 5. So when we say, hey, hit us in the Cash App, it's not because I want to buy a coffee or a smoothie. That might be the only income I get that month.
Right.
Talk about these type of things. So at any rate, Mantis, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's get out of here. I love you all, yo. I've been living that dream. Yo, guys, on Autolist, I've been doing the morning show, which I know which is making you guys all not come to me. Starting the 26th one day, I'm going to be doing the evening drive time, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., which means there's more reason to come hang out with the Mantis on Autolist. Download the app. And I know each and every one of you, I'm going to hunt you down and make sure you have that app. And guess what? Even though he's interviewing right now, we all know Steve's going to get it because he was meant for this job.
Yeah, I come to the morning show, 6 a.m. I have to remind myself that you're not going to be live every time I come, but I have a great time. So
thank you, man. Thank you. I
It's
put a lot of
quality-
work into this morning show. We've got new guys taking over the morning show, a whole team of guys. They already syndicated, so it's good. But I think I'm gonna get more views when I do the evening shit. It's gonna be a good time. And so please check me out. That's my new endeavor. Trying to make it on the radio, and we're gonna do all sorts of experimental fun shit. Steve's gonna be involved, everyone's gonna be involved. I love you all. Steve, what else you got going on?
So last thing, Pillow Talk every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. But make sure you join the Hold Up TV Discord. Make sure you join Rogue Planet Discord, because at a certain point, there may only be the opportunity to find out what we're doing on there. If one day you're like, yo, what happened to Fight Juice? What happened to the Hold Up TV? What happened to Rogue Planet? Hey, we got big boy jobs. We have to provide.
Yeah, if we mutate, you need to be there. You need to be ready for the shift, man. We love you all. We're so glad to have you aboard.
But motherfuckers got to pay their bills. So make sure you join the Discord. That's where you can chop it up with us.
Hit up the Discords, which are in the description right there. Both of our Discords are there.
Otherwise than that, we're inebriated. I feel warm. It's warm.
I feel warm. And you know what? Before we started, I felt cold. I felt very cold.
I felt dead on the inside. The Flash, amazing movie. DJ Vlad, I'm gonna say he's not an op. You just gotta pay attention to what you're saying in public.
Gangsters need to stop snitching on their fucking selves, man. Stop getting drunk and being like, yo, I killed a nigga. Fuck you, man. Calm down, yo. It's like Yana, what is it? Yana Melly? This fucking idiot, yo. He like that rapper, he blew up in 2017, and by 2019, he was arrested because he was confessing to crimes on his own fucking songs.
So here's one thing I know I'm not gonna get Mantis to do, but I'm gonna try right now. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I want to promote a special fanboy episode, right? In case you're not up to speed, Dr. Cornel West, not Kanye West, Cornel West. You might know him from The Matrix. He's the black guy that said, well, your belief is not a prerequisite.
Oh, right. Okay.
He is running for president. He has no shot in hell in winning. But he's going from the People's Party ticket to the Green Party ticket. So he's switching from one independent to another independent. He may be our new chaos candidate like Trump was. This is very important, Mantis, and I want to tell you why. The YouTube streets are buzzing right now with Cornel West entering the Green Party primary.
Yo, I will chill with this dude. I will You're offering me an interview?
No, I don't have access to this motherfucker.
But no, I knew you didn't. When I asked that, I already knew you didn't.
What we have to talk about, right, is the independent party. Is it on the upscale, man? So I have to say, in the space of Black YouTube, no offense to anyone else, Cornel West, who's been involved with the civil rights movement, 1968 to now, civil rights movement, he met with some mire by the younger civil rights movement.
Yo, young people don't know what's up right now. We need to put them on. It's our job.
It should be a good topic. I'm hoping to get Mantis on board on it, man. Otherwise than that, I have nothing else to.
Yo, I am for Cornel West for president.
Are you really?
I am.
Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
We'll get into. As you know, I don't know if you knew this. I'm all about a third party.
I know you're about a third party. That
and
I know.
Now that I find that he's environmental friendly, Fuck yeah.
So you are already up to speed on this, man. And it's interesting because he's been doing his campaign, well, his preliminary campaign. He's been hitting these YouTube streets, which I think is extremely it's smart.
And maybe our YouTube channel is what will turn the tide so that he wins.
Good night, motherfuckers.
Good night, everybody. Fat Mantis and the Hold Up TV are out. He calls himself Steve. We all know he's the Hold Up TV. We love you all. Keep it real. Don't take shit from nobody. Live the dream. And remember, we are watching. So don't cross us, bitches.